I hope you can hear me. Basically, like, for me, like, I don't have idols. I don't have, like, role models, you know? Like, I look up to Leila Hermosi in the sense of, like, I think her story and my story are similar. Like, the things she's gone through and some of the things I've gone through, like, I recognize. And the way that she speaks and carries herself, like, I resonate with that a lot. But there's other things that she believes that I don't necessarily believe. So it's like, which is good, and that's how it's supposed to be. But there aren't any women that I really, like, aspire to be. Like, I used to want to be like Beyonce, but that's only because I didn't understand myself and I didn't understand who I was. And then as I got older and I understood more about who she was, I realized it was like, oh, that's not what I want. It's not just about being famous and being, like, the biggest and being, like, the one that everybody wants to be. It's not about that. It's like, I want to have influence. I want to have impact. I want to inspire women, yes. But, like, when it comes to poker, like, there isn't, like, a poker woman that I look up to, that I want to play like, or that I am inspired by. I mean, I literally look up, like, stay-at-home mom, poker player. Like, I know there's women out there that play poker and are stay-at-home moms, but I guess they're just not talking about their life, or they're not vlogging, or they're just not in a position where they want to, like, share, or, like, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I know what God has put inside me and what my desire is. I'm just looking at all the people. I'm here with you, but I'm just looking outside. But it's just like, I think I am the woman that I'm looking up to. I think I am the woman that I want to be, because, like, when it comes down to it, like, I want to be a stay-at-home, I guess it's kind of weird because it's like stay-at-home mom that travels and plays poker. So it's like, I'm not really staying at home because my home is everywhere. But then it's like, I am staying at home because my home is my family, you know? And then it's like, the poker player is like, okay, if you're a stay-at-home mom but you also have a job, aren't you a working mom? But it's like, no, like, I work part-time, I guess. Like, I work part-time, I work full-time as a mom, and then part-time as a poker player, and then part-time as, like, an artist, influencer, entertainer, whatever the word is. So it's like iconoclast or something, you know? So it's like, for me, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want other women to see that there are options and that they can just learn a skill and scale it. Just learn a game. There's money everywhere. Literally, there's so much money everywhere. Like, yesterday we found, like, $1.02 just hanging out. You know, we just found it. We found a James Dean book on the ground, and that's like a whole thing, you know? Like, there's so much available, and, like, I mean, it's not about bringing my mom or my grandmas or like, the women in my life down. I just have to be honest with myself and say, like, they're not living lives that I want to live. I don't look up to them. I love them and I care about them, and their happiness, like, comes up in my mind often. But I don't want to be like them. And the universe has been asking me, like, what are you going to let go of? And I was like, honestly, like, I just need to let go about worrying about these women and their happiness and how the men in their life treat them. Because my whole upbringing, I was just stressed out. Like, literally so stressed out. I had eczema, and, like, I was so, like, anxious and, like, self-conscious and, like, self-deprecating and, like, just limited. I was so limited. And I think it was because the female energy in my life wasn't expanding. Like, there was I didn't see any expansion. And that's not a bad thing to admit. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. And for me, I've always wanted to expand. So it made me feel anxious that, man, maybe I'll never expand like these people, you know? So now here I am, like, the happiest I've ever been, the healthiest I've ever been, like, getting ready to give birth to another child. And, like, still, you know, navigating these thoughts with the universe about my mother and her happiness, and my grandmother and her health and her happiness, like all my grandmothers, you know? And then it's like, my sisters, and like, you know, sometimes I think about my aunts and like my extended grandmas and stuff like that. But like, really, it's like maternal. It's like a maternal lineage thing. And I just like, I realize the reason I keep thinking about their happiness or whatever is because like I know that they're not achieving their dreams. They're not doing things that make them feel big. And I mean, right, like who am I to say like how somebody feels? But like you can see it on their faces, you can hear it in their voices, you can like the things that they talk about, like they have ambitions that they just never achieved. Like today we watched that movie Up in the Air with George Clooney and Anna Kendrick. And in one scene, like basically their job is that they fire people. That they're like part of this company that fires people. And there's this one scene where this guy is like, what am I supposed to tell my kids? And he shows a picture of the kids. And then George Clooney comes back and he's like, honestly, bro, you should just follow your dreams. Because on your resume it says that you were like a French cuisine cook or something like that. How much did they pay you to give up on your dreams? And the guy was like, $27,000. And like that little like line, that like interaction, that scene like really like spoke to me. It's like, yeah, like what configuration of situations did you go through that made you decide that the universe didn't value you? What configuration of situations did you go through that made you think, or just gave you some impression that the universe didn't see value or didn't want you to grow or expand? Like what happened that made you feel like it was okay to give up on yourself? That's kind of like what it comes down to. And for me, like my whole thing, I want women to spend time with their children. This whole nanny culture, the childcare industry is poison. Like people talk about cancer, people talk about meth, they talk about alcohol, but the real thing that people are addicted to is abandoning each other. That's what it comes down to, abandonment. You're abandoning your children, you're abandoning your spouse, you're abandoning yourself. You're abandoning yourself by walking away from your children and choosing a career. Because you know that, like, God gave you children. That's what you're supposed to be focusing on. That's what you're made for. You're made for making children. And then alongside that, you do your hobbies and you find a way to integrate motherhood into what you're doing. You know, like me, I'm a full-time mom and I play poker. When the boy's playing with his toys, I'll play poker. Or when he's asleep, I'll play poker. And like when we're hanging out, like especially if we're a family and like time is kind of dull, like I'll post some videos. Or like right now, like we're on the bus, I'm just gonna make a video. Like we have created a lifestyle and have made it a priority for ourselves as a couple, as a duo, as a team, to make our dreams happen regardless of what our life situation is. And just because you have a family doesn't mean you can't do stuff. Like today I was trying to limit myself and be like, well, we won't be able to go to the mall if the boy is asleep, he's gonna be sleepy, and then blah blah blah. But really I was just pouting because I wanted more affection and more attention from my husband, but he had to do his taxes. So I was like all upset because I wasn't getting the attention that I wanted, and I didn't know how to verbalize it. And then I was like pouting, and then he was like, why are you pouting? I was like, I'm just pouting because I wanted to go to the mall, and then you said that you had to finish your taxes. And it was just like this stupid thing, right, of limiting myself about what is possible. But honestly, we're still going to the mall. The boy is asleep, we're on the bus, he'll sleep when he sleeps. And that's the thing, like being a nomadic mom is the child will sleep if it's tired. They're built to do that. My mom always said that I would just fall asleep wherever I was. If I was sleepy, I would just fall asleep. Because that's how it is. Like, there's so much coddling of children, but no, like, nurturing of children. Like, there's moms that are concerned about parasites and moms that are concerned about food and gluten and all this stuff, but they have a babysitter or they have a nanny or they work, you know, however many hours in a career that honestly they're just doing to pay the bills. It's not necessarily like their passion. And like I'm really grateful that my passion is music and poker, so that like just by the nature of those activities, like there isn't like a structure around it. It's very flexible. But if I was like super passionate about nursing, or if I was super passionate about, I don't know what the other professions are, honestly, like, I don't know, I'm just gonna stick to nursing. If I was super passionate about nursing and I had to put in like 12-hour, 18-hour, 16-hour shifts and be a mom, like, I would have to change how I was being as a nurse. I would change my profession to fit my motherhood way before I would change my motherhood to fit my profession. Because the motherhood is how we're building the next generation of people. You're building humans. You're cultivating a culture. You're creating the next vibration of consciousness. It's literally emanating from your womb so loudly that it became a new person. God loves you so much and has so much like faith in you that it gave you another human to mold and to carve and to, like, you know, sculpt. So for you to just kind of like push that to the side and like have a babysitter, or use the TV as a babysitter, or have them have a tablet, like all of these things that you know are not good for them, like having them swim in chlorine, having them like eat processed food. Like, the most processed food my kid has eaten are tortilla chips. And that's just because I was out by myself at lunch with him, and the lady brought it to the table before I could, like, oh, no thank you. So the boy saw them, and like, I would rather just, you know what, I know what he eats, I know that he's clean, I'm just gonna help him stay clean, and we'll clean this out in his body in the next couple of days. Like, I understand how to navigate those things. But at the end of the day, it's like, you have to choose. And my choice is that I want to be a good mom. And I am a good mom because I prioritize myself. I have boundaries. I have boundaries with my son. My husband and I have boundaries. And we're not giving up on my dreams. I'm not giving up on my dreams, and he's not giving up on his dreams. That's what it comes down to. That's what makes you a good parent. It's because you find a way to live the life that you want to live, and also have your children be brought up in that culture. Like, if I was going to send my kid to daycare, or if I was going to send my kid to school, I have all of these like time frames and time limitations. Like, the Gregorian calendar isn't real. The calendar that we're using and we're accustomed to isn't real, bro. Like, they literally made it up to fuck with your circadian rhythm. They made it up on purpose. All of these holidays, they represent the 7 deadly sins: gluttony, lust, wrath, whatsoever, right? And like, chopping your day up by like lunchtime, or like this, and oh, how much time is this, how much time is this, it's like, it's exhausting. And I'm saying it because I'm saying it as a critique, and also as an admitting, like, I'm still growing out of that. I've grown out of it. It's done now, you know? But when it comes down to is that, like, time's not real. And as a woman, you've got to be in that feminine of receptivity and like timelessness, because you are timeless. Having a due date, so many people have asked me, like, when are you due? When are you due? And I'm like, when God wants me, like, when God is ready to come out of me, like, what? Like, we're the only creatures that come up with timelines like that. And it's so arbitrary and so stupid. You get so caught up in like 5 minutes here or 15 minutes here, or like, I've been scrolling on my phone for X amount of hours. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's what you need. But at the end of the day, it's like, show up and be the woman you want to be. Don't make excuses for yourself. Or like, and the childcare industry is an excuse. Like, you're excusing yourself from being a mom. Not like an excuse like, oh, like, my computer won't work, I can't get on the Zoom. Like, you're excusing yourself, like you're excusing yourself from the table. Like, this is somebody's childhood that you are in charge of. This is somebody's like foundation of neurological like stimulus and regulation, and this is somebody's like gut flora, and like, this is somebody's like lineage outside of you that you've inherited the will of God through your womb, and it became a person, and now you're here to help support God as that person. So excusing yourself from that responsibility, it's cheap, it's lame, it's dumb. And I think, like, as a kid that was put in daycare or had babysitters as a kid that like, you know, like went to school like from a young age, it's like all of those things are so terrible. The fact, like my husband, he came home the other day and he was like really emotional and we talked about it and he just brought up the fact, I mean we talked about it before, but he brought it up again because it was fresh in our energy. But like, you know, when you're a kid, like you get shipped off to school and they're putting kids in school younger and younger. Montessori I think starts at like 18 months or something like that, which is like crazy to me. Like the fact that you want your kid to learn shapes, names, and numbers so young is dumb. They should be aware of like emotions and like what a safe adult is and what they can and can't put in their mouth. What is food? How to ask for water? How to pull up their pants? How to go to the bathroom? Like true skills about being a human. But all these arbitrary things of like counting and like, you know, naming and the alphabet and all that stuff, like you learn that as you go. If my kid doesn't read until he's like 8, okay, cool. But he damn well will know what kind of rocks are this. He'll know what kind of plants are this. He'll know how to regulate his emotions. He'll know how to do stretches. He'll know how to clean his feet and clean his hands and wash his body. Like I won't have to carry him everywhere, you know, because he's sound in himself. That's what we should be cultivating. But because these kids are so young and they're getting taken to daycare and then they get put into pre-K and then they get put into like the education, I don't know, it's not even education. What can I really call it? The propaganda system, the American propaganda system. Like you're separated from your mom. Like you're not spending much time with your mother. I think there was like a study or something I remember hearing somebody talk about on the internet, and they were talking about like children only spend like 3 hours a day with their parents, and that's like a little bit maybe at breakfast and then like usually like bedtime, like nap time, or like going to sleep. We call it nap time at the end of the day because you're taking a nap. It's just a little bit longer, but you might call it bedtime. But like at the end of the day, like these kids are not spending time with their parents. They're not getting the instinctual downloads that they need to on how to be a person, how to engage, how to regulate yourself, how to follow your dreams, what even a dream is, like all of this stuff. And you talk, like there's rich people who are talking about like how they have private tutors and they have private teachers and like they bring their kids to work and all that kind of stuff. And that's healthy to me. Like if we were living on farms, if we were living on a farm right now, like our son would be out working with my husband, taking care of the animals, or with me in the garden, like doing the work alongside me. But for some reason, like humans decided that living in suburbs and living in apartments is like the best way to be. But by doing that, they don't have any access to land and they don't have any access to like each other. So they're not following their dreams. They're not building anything for themselves. They're not cultivating anything. So they're sending their children away so that they can go away just to come back to this little box that they've decided is safe. And that's why we're nomadic, because we know that we're safe with each other and we're safe under the protection of God. And I won't let fear get in the way of me and my marriage. I won't let fear get in the way of me being a mom. It literally does not compute anymore. Like I was thinking about that earlier today, because I missed the bus from my first the tournament I was gonna go to, and I was like, I'm not even worried. Like my brain doesn't compute worry anymore because it's so unproductive, it's unhelpful, it doesn't lead anywhere, and it just makes me feel upset. So it's like I was just like, yeah, well, I guess this is the divine plan. Something's gonna happen. Cool. You know, something's gonna happen. And I'm gonna go to a tournament later tonight anyway, so it's like, anyways, what I'm saying is, the reason I got on here is because I want women to spend time with their children. That's why I feel like God put me here on earth, because my mom didn't spend time with me nearly as much as I would have needed to be a healthy adolescent. So the healthy mentality that I have right now, I cultivated in my adulthood. And I cultivated in my relationship with my husband, because that's also what relationships do to you. They heal you. That's what they're supposed to do. That's why they're designed that way, so that the other person can see inside of you what you don't see yourself. But so many people are used to dysfunctional relationships that they'll just stay there. And if you're not growing alongside the person, you'll just stay. It's weird. Like, when you really look at it, it's weird, bro. It's fucking weird. You're with this person that makes you feel like shit. Why? You don't even feel listened to. You can't even have a nice date. Like, why? So yeah, like, and it's not, I'm not trying to get on here and tell the internet, oh, I resent my mom for this, that, and the other. I have to call it out for what it is, because it's not just my mom. It's probably your mom, or your friend's mom, or your girlfriend's mom. Like, whoever you know, like, and it's not the mom's fault that they're abandoning their children, but it is their responsibility. Okay? It is. And like, my whole life I've wanted to have this close relationship with my mother that we just haven't been able to cultivate. And I realized why. One, it's because like she had to work a lot as I was growing up because she was a single mom. Two, she picked a partner that honestly, like, I don't like. Like, I respect that he's my mom's husband and whatever, but like, he's not adding to my life at all. And I don't feel like she's happy. Like, I remember growing up multiple times her telling me that she's not happy, or she doesn't feel free, or she wants to leave, and like these types of things. Like, as a child, like, I'm not feeling safe because my mom doesn't feel safe, and she's not spending time with me to give me that sense of security. So it puts you in this state of panic and anxiety all the fucking time. And I know I'm not the only one that went through that. So it's like, yeah, like, I know it's not just my mom. And I'm still working on how do I have this relationship with this woman that I don't have a strong connection with. And honestly, like, I only really want to be close with her because I know that it's healthy for both of us to have a good relationship. But you know, sometimes I'm like, is it worth it? Like, how is she helping me with my goals? She's not. She's really not. And that's okay. She doesn't have to. What I'm saying is, like, you want people in your life that feed your vision. And if they don't feed your vision, you have to let them go. And the universe has keep asking me, like, are you willing to let this relationship go? Are you willing to let the ties go? And it's been difficult for me, you know? Because I have these feelings that I want to be close with her, and that's a whole thing, right? But at the end of the day, what I have to focus on is how I'm showing up for my children, how I'm showing up for my husband, and how I'm showing up for myself. And how all of those things interact and, like, kind of delegate each other. And they, what is it? Checks and balances. They check and balance each other. And, like, I used to be really upset with my mom for the choices that she made and for giving up on herself, because it kind of felt like she gave up on me. Like, a mom giving up on her dreams is her telling her children that their dreams aren't even important. And it's like, yeah, I know there's all these single moms that are working all these jobs, and sure, people might have opinions about what I'm saying, but it's like, look at the math. There's more people who are criminals or people who are hurting themselves or doing something, like, not necessarily productive, and they come from single home families. They come from women that aren't appreciated. They come from women that haven't been able to appreciate themselves. They come from women that were abandoned or abandoned themselves. That's what it is. So for me, my goal here on earth is to show women how to show up for themselves, and that you don't have to be you don't have to sacrifice your life just to raise your family. And if you have a husband that is putting you in a position where you have to sacrifice everything, your whole day, your whole mentality, your whole essence, your whole energy, because you are a nuclear reactor. You are the most powerful thing. You're far more powerful than a man because you have a uterus and you can create life. So there's a energy, like what's the word? Flow or capacity that can go through you that literally the men cannot hold. They cannot hold the same energy capacity as you. They need you. Men live longer when they have happy marriages. It's true. When they kiss their wives before work. All that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's, as the woman, you're feeding your husband energy. You're feeding your family energy. And you have to replenish yourself. And you replenish yourself through spirituality, through creation, through following your passions. And that's why for me, Like, I've just decided I'm gonna start talking on the internet because I really want to talk on the internet. I do. It feels good and it feels true. And I really want to play poker. I love playing poker. It's fun for me. But I'm doing those things in balance with also raising my child, but soon to be children, you know? Because that's also really fun and exciting, and I love it. I love being a mom. Sure, sometimes I cry, but like, when we do our prayer, we say like, anything that we don't need that's in this food, let me pee it out, poop it out, sweat it out, or cry it out. So sometimes when I cry, it's just because I'm getting rid of a donut that I ate. Or it's because I'm getting rid of some pork that I ate when I knew I probably shouldn't have eaten that pork. So it's like, being a woman is just being aware of yourself. And I'm not gonna get into the whole transgender stuff right now. I'll save that for a different video. But at the end of the day, like, a woman is a person that carries a womb and has the capacity to bear child. And if you've gotten your uterus taken out, okay, you're a woman, like you had a uterus, you still are a woman. Just because it's not there right now doesn't mean you were never a woman. Like, I'm not gonna quantify or qualify what a woman is in this video. I'm saying that it's your job as a mother to be a feminine person. We need feminine people to raise our children. And we need masculine men to help us get into that feminine state. So the only reason we get masculine men is by having strong feminine women to raise them. Because women that are feminine and raise men usually are feminine because they have a man in their life that makes them feel feminine. But if you're a single woman, you're in your masculine energy. And that's not a good way to raise a child. A woman in her masculine energy, especially raising a son, is so damaging. It's so damaging. Like, I want to give credit to all the women that do it, but like, just because you smoke cigarettes and eat salad doesn't mean that, hey, like, cigarettes are still bad for you. Like, just because you're raising your children by yourself, like, yeah, good for you, that's like way to step up, but you're still in your masculine energy, so you're still causing damage that they're gonna have to heal from anyways. I just get really passionate about this because I come from a family where femininity was like really stomped out, and like, it didn't feel like anybody felt safe, and we didn't know how to communicate, we didn't know how to love on each other, we didn't know how to pray, like, we didn't know how to manifest. Like, there was so much lack where I grew up and how I grew up. I didn't see love. I didn't see people in love. I didn't see like joy. I didn't see excitement and like true love, you know? So like, for me right now, experiencing true love, experiencing true joy, experiencing God and all the truth that comes along with it, it's so exciting that I literally, like, it makes me, I'm not disappointed, but I'm excited for the potential that there is out there. Because there's so many women right now living this life that they feel like they have to live. But if 2 single moms got together, 3 single moms, 4 single moms, and they all just got a house together, they could all help each other do that work. And if you don't want to have a man, then don't have a man, whatever. But I'm telling you, the best way to raise a family is with a mother, a father that love each other and are both pursuing their dreams. Sometimes a mom, her only dream is that she wants to be a good mom, and that's perfect. Me, I know that I'm like high flying and very special. I'm only 20, like, I mean, by the moon I'm 23 and a half or something like that. But like, I know that I'm here for bigger things alongside my family, you know? Like, I have other dreams. So like, being a stay-at-home mom is enough for me. I just also choose to do poker and to be a singer and to be a internet person here talking to you. And there's other things that I have planned, like other businesses that I have planned and other ways I want to create jobs, and I want to give mothers employment without taking them away from their children or distracting them from their children or just or burying them in work so they can't even feel comfortable being around their husband or relaxing, like all of that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm on here on the internet. That's why I'm alive. That's why I play poker. That's why I talk the way that I do and I believe what I believe. Is because I believe that women need to take care of their children. And they can only really take care of their children if they're being taken care of by their man. And they can only get taken care of by their man if they're taking care of themselves. So I took care of myself and I found my man. My man takes care of me, and then I made my babies. And now we have my babies are growing, and now we're going to be taking care of our community. Like, that's the progression. It's not about getting married and having a home and having babies and all that, like all of the stuff that comes along with it. It's about the experience that comes along with it and what you're cultivating. So that's my time. I'm going to take a breath. I really need some water, and I think I have to pee. I love you. And I'm not here to criticize you or judge you. I just know that it can be better. And I love you so much that I'm not going to let you just satisfy yourself with this, like, inferior shit. Like, I love you so much. I want to be honest with you. I love you so much. I want to be honest with you. And the truth isn't about making you happy. The truth is about setting you free.